Good morning, viewers. This is Boo from Boo's Beaters. Bright and early. I don't usually get up this early. I won't even say what time it is. Birds are waking up because it's an exciting morning. I'm off on a Craigslist hunt. I'm going to see a car that I found and made arrangements to see, and now I'm going to see it. I won't spoil the fun by saying what it is. I guess I can say what it isn't, though. It's not this Alpine Sunbeam that I was so excited about on my previous video about how to find a car on Craigslist. The owner of that was a paraplegic. He served in Afghanistan and lost his legs. I'm not making light of that. That's a terrible thing. But what's wonderful is he figured out a way to fix his car, his old Alpine Sunbeam, so he could drive it with hand controls. So he decided not to sell it after all, and so that was a car I was happy to miss out on because it had such a happy ending. He's getting a lot of enjoyment out of it, and it's just wonderful to see. So it's not that, it's not a few of the others I pointed out. I narrowed it down to about 1 billion cars. Now, I already took a wrong turn here, and I'm going to be late. This guy, I can say, does not seem friendly. We'll see what he's like. It's not about him, though. It's about the car, right? He's been ordering me around. Go here, do this, do that, and we'll see what happens. But I'm going to record it, whether he likes it or not, and we'll see what happens. See you soon. Hi, I saw you coming. You're hard to miss in that. Thanks for coming. For those of you who may feel initially overwhelmed by seeing a dented yellow old rear end of some old van, let me set you straight. This is a Volkswagen Westfalia transporter camper. And it was on my list of earlier eBay or Craigslist searches, so I did give fair warning. And for those of you who aren't into the old car game, trucks and vans are hot right now. I guess you could say hipsters want them, Gen Xers want them, and one of the hottest is this Vanagon Westfalia, called by those in the know Westy. So the real cool old vans of the Volkswagen version that were called transporters or buses, and they were the Type 1 and have become super expensive. They're the ones you think of when you think of hippies and 60s and driving on long road trips. But what came next was the Vanagon, which is what I'm looking at today. This is a Type 2, for those who want to get technical, and they were made from 1979 to 1992. This is an 83 version that I'm looking at, and it was the first year that they switched from air-cooled engines, which were similar to the old bus and had been in production since the 60s, to a water-cooled version, which actually didn't change much. It was still pretty much the same engine, but it was switched over to water, and it's called the Water Boxer. These vans are cool right now and hot and getting more and more expensive, and they're not hot for their performance. They're super slow. They're not hot for their looks, which are pretty boxy, but for some reason they got hot. They're considered cool in the sense that you can hop in them. They're very usable. You can go in there with your family and go off camping. The Westies, the ones you see here, have that. Went to an aftermarket company in conjunction with Volkswagen that has worked with them really for 20 years, 30, 40 probably. They have that plastic top that pops up and turns into a tent, and I guess that's what makes them cool, but they're way more expensive than the regular transporters and way more cool. And I'm looking at this one because it is the cheapest one in the whole country, and I want it. So are they bad?
Yeah,
I drove by French on the way. It seemed like they go around
an entrance to Caribou. But on a hot summer day, if you're in your hanging out. Fucking cool. I mean, it's
nice
just
breeze,
nice and cool.
This Vanagon has about 130,000 miles, which really isn't bad considering how old it is. Less than 10,000 a year by far, that's for sure. It doesn't drive bad. It has a rebuilt suspension and it has some rebuilt motor parts. But what's weird, I think, is typical of all Vanagons. It just feels strange. You're sitting above the front wheel and there's no hood, so there's nothing between you and whatever happens to be in front. It feels a little bit dangerous, actually. I grew up with a bus in my family, the old school bus. We drove across country, so I guess it's not so bad. But of all things, it really feels slow. The engine's way there and back. You can hear it puttering along, but not much seems to happen when you push on the gas on this thing. I took it up to about 50 on the roads we were on. I don't know how comfortable I'd feel going highway speeds in it, especially with a crosswind. It's like a bread box. It can't be all that stable. The one cool thing, though, is the big wheel. Well, one cool thing is the big wheel. Feel like you're in command of the Titanic or something. And another cool thing is the stick shift. It's just fun to shift, even if there is a very sloppy shifter and it feels like not much happens when you shift the gears. The gearing's so high, really, you can stay on that in third gear pretty much all the time. And nothing much changes except you putter along about 45 and cruise in comfort, I guess. Not bad. This one, the steering's a little sloppy, but I think that might be the same with all of them.